I'm Rob Tanner. We're here at the Johnson Controls display at the AHR Expo, and behind me is a product that I want to talk to you about with my good friend Aaron Lewis. Aaron runs our data center division, which is going to be a big user of this product. It's not the only use, but it's going to be a big user of this product. And Aaron and I want to talk to you a bit about this product, its capabilities, including what you see here as a Smart Ready, to help explain what Smart Ready means. So Aaron, talk about this product a little bit. Clearly it's a centrifugal chiller, but it's a big one.
That's absolutely right. You're right. We're talking about 1,500 to 3,200 tons of cooling, two-stage compression. Targeted at some of the more of the sustainable, options we're looking for in the market. High lift operation, where you might not be going to a cooling tower anymore, but maybe a dry cooler or a radiator. Things where you really have to have a high lift, option and availability to meet the efficiency standards that we need in the market.
Okay, and that high lift can translate to a pretty high condensing temperature so that we can use those dry coolers. I think it's as high as 165 if I
that's
have
exactly
that number
right. So it's designed to take in the highest operating, the largest operating envelope we can, so that we're super efficient across a number of applications, right? Because you mentioned data centers highly critical to us, right? That's a very quickly growing piece of the market. But you'll see these applications also pop up for pharmaceuticals, for hospitals, other mission critical facilities in geographies where water really isn't an option.
And that is a growing concern of using water for evaporation, right? There was a time we could just freely use wet cooling towers and evaporate all the water we wanted. Those days are going away.
Right, we've seen that communities in general are concerned, the people are concerned about the water in their neighborhoods at this point, right? Because the size of some of these applications.
That makes sense.
So, there's legislation in place and going into place that requires us to innovate and move forward with technologies that can be efficient without using those natural resources.
Oh, that's good. And you talk about being environmentally friendly and even a good neighbor, right? So it's the water use, right? It's also how much power is this going to consume,
right?
And even concerns with how much noise is it going to make.
Absolutely. All three of those things kind of come into play when you talk about the size of the infrastructure going into place, whether it's a data center or any of these manufacturing opportunities, because people are concerned about the amount of water or the price of water that they're going to have to their homes. The amount of electricity available, is that enough that they're going to have? Noise pollution is a huge deal, right? So can you reduce that? Using a machine like this that has the wide operating envelope, can we then reduce the number of dry coolers and reduce the number of radiators that's outside that are making a ton of noise with the fans, right? Blowing air up into the atmosphere.
That makes sense. So I mentioned that we have a label all the way at the top left corner of this panel that indicates that this is a Smart Ready chiller. And for our audience, Smart Ready chiller is a chiller that is factory ready to benefit from connected services, which give us more than 200 points of data to make the right decisions on how to operate this chiller for efficiency, use of energy, and even the sound that it might make from day one of operation. And by putting that right into the chiller at the factory, we get customers that much closer to benefiting from all that data and all that value.
Yeah, it reduces a huge hurdle in that getting all of those components together and onto a job site, reduces the time of commissioning. It also adds a lot of key indicators that are going to help us in the field as well. Things like how and when to roll a truck, right? We all know that we're limited in terms of manpower. The industry is limited in terms of manpower. So having a connected chiller so you can see maybe predictively what's going wrong or when it might break, you can then plan of when your trucks need to roll to get out there, right? You can then reduce some of that manpower need on site. Things that you can make more efficient along the way. Makes it better for your owner, it makes it better for the local economy and the people so that we reduce overtime hours, all those things that kind of play into emergency services. We have an opportunity to help limit some of that.
And that goes right to the bottom line of the total cost of operation of this chiller.
Absolutely.
Right? I've seen numbers of 35% cost reduction when I can schedule a service versus an emergency service.
Right.
And think about that over the life of that chiller,
Sure.
how that contributes to that overall total cost of energy. So,
Yeah, and when you think of cycle time and downtime, you could
Tremendous.
even pre-order the parts and the
Yes.
components that you're going to need to do that fix because you can see a trend line of what's going on in the machine
Yep.
and you know what you're going to need to make that fix instead of sending a truck to go identify, qualify, troubleshoot, and then later go order the part, which might take days or weeks sometimes. To
correct. And think about the reduction by knowing those things in advance on those emergency services that happen. I mean,
Absolutely.
you're still going to have incidents
Sure.
that are going to require an emergency repair, but if we can take away as much as 32% of that, right?
Sure.
Cut that in significance to be able to say, now I can actually manage this asset as if I know what's happening all the time.
Sure.
And can plan for it intelligently, cost effectively, know I have the right parts there. I think about times in an emergency situation, I roll a truck, I make a diagnosis, and maybe I don't have access to that part and I don't have the ability to get it. Now what do we do, right? If I can overcome that piece, now I've got more uptime, and which is ultimately what we want our customers to have.
Sure.
Better uptime, more uptime with their chiller.
Absolutely.
So,
You reduce all of those inefficiencies that happen along the way from time of identification of an issue all the way through the repair.
Yep.
Right? Reduces cost along the way, so then you can reroute some of those funds to take care of other maintenance items you might be deferring. Right? So in the long term, you end up eating away, chipping away at all of the issues. You end up with a system, a plant system that's far more reliable.
That's excellent. So if you're interested in learning more about the York YKHT, go to york.com to our commercial water-cooled chiller solutions, and you'll be able to find this product here and even find someone who can help you think about how it fits for your application.